that kind of emotion. His 1-2. Strike three at 99. Liam Doyle's a madman.
What's up, everybody? I am here with Liam Doyle, college baseball's bad boy, maybe? One of the most interesting guys to watch, at least, of Tennessee. What is up, Liam?
What's going on? Glad to be here. Excited for it.
Dude, I'm excited to be talking with you. I have really enjoyed watching you all season. I mean, you've seen the posts. I love the attitude. I love a dude who just throws freaking cheddar, too. Like, how long have you been throwing this hard?
Pretty much just this year. I've always been in like the low to mid 90s throughout my college career, but got here, made a few changes to the body, a few little changes here and there, mechanics wise and pitch grip wise, and happened. Just a little Tennessee magic, I guess.
What was the big thing that changed you?
I definitely would attribute it all to changing my body, changing my diet, weight room work ethic, and really dedicating myself off the field as much as I do on the field. You know, I show a lot of pride on the field, that I have as much pride as I think anyone in competing and playing baseball. But I really learned once I got here, if I'm going to do what I want to do in the pro life and take this as a true career path, I'm going to have to continue to do it off the field. So whether I was changing my diet, putting the right supplements in, lifting on a very strict schedule, I would say, but all that stuff really changed me, and it built me up to who I am at this point in the season.
Well, I mean, I did go through old footage and saw you like in high school and all that, and your body type is way different now.
Yeah. So I started off really small, actually, and skinny, especially when I showed up freshman year. I was like 160 pounds. I was always kind of like really skinny in high school too, and in college. So I put on some weight. It wasn't always necessarily the best weight. Trying to turn that weight into muscle when I got to Ole Miss. Got a little bit stronger, but still wasn't where I needed to be. And then turned that a lot of that fat and unnecessary weight that I needed into muscle when I got to Tennessee, and that's kind of where you saw the jump in velo, stamina. I just always felt strong in the weight room. Been able to lift more weight now, run faster, have more explosive energy on the mound and stuff like that. So right when I got to Tennessee, we knew that was mission A for me in the fall, and we succeeded pretty well at that, and it paid off.
Well, I feel like, I mean, did you choose schools based on like attitudes or something? Because like Ole Miss has their own attitude too. Like these teams, Coastal, you got a whole bunch of schools that have a little chip on their shoulder, and I know that Tennessee does. Like, what was the main thing for you in choosing schools?
Yeah, I was just looking for the best fit. Out of high school, I didn't have many options being from New Hampshire, and I was just kind of a skinny lefty kid who had a good arm, wasn't like anything off the charts. And Coastal took a shot on me. They gave me a really good scholarship offer, and knew I wanted to go play baseball down in the South. So it was just a good spot for me. Loved the coaching staff, loved the people that I was going into like freshman year with and stuff like that. So it was all good, and it was a perfect spot for me. But growing up, I was always a huge SEC sports fan, not necessarily just baseball, but basketball, football. Loved watching all the great stuff and all the competitive atmospheres and all the big games and loud environments to be in, and knew that's kind of where my heart desired to be. But didn't really necessarily get that chance out of high school, which is fine. Not a lot of people do. It's really tough to play in the SEC, and I probably wasn't worthy of it at the time anyway. So it's probably a good thing that I started off at a school like that. Got to pitch in 2 regional games. I started as a freshman, so I got a ton of experience against great hitters. And I feel like the Sun Belt Conference out of high school anyway was like kind of great for me to like just go from high school ball to the Sun Belt, not just from high school ball to the SEC, because that's just a whole different animal, I feel like. But yeah, no, it was good. Went to Ole Miss. That was kind of my first landing spot in the SEC. Really got to see some cool environments, including playing here in Knoxville last year. And uh, when I hopped in the portal this time, it was more just wanted to get developed and wanted to go compete for a national championship. And there's no really other spot right now in college baseball that I'd rather be than playing for Coach V at Tennessee and developing every day and competing at the best of my ability. So that's how I ended up here.
Were you like the only baseball player in New Hampshire? Like, who plays baseball in New Hampshire?
There's not many. There's some good talent here and there, but it's definitely not as prominent as anywhere else in the country. Me and Marcus were actually talking the other day about how it's kind of funny because he's from South Dakota, so he kind of gets it too. There's not that as much talent as all these other kids. Like half our team, I feel like, is from Georgia, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, all these southern states. So it's pretty funny just to be from southern New Hampshire and him from South Dakota and stuff like that. But it's pretty fun being one of the only guys from New Hampshire in the SEC. There's only a few others, so it's pretty cool.
Do you feel like you say 5 words for every 1 word that somebody else says when you're talking? You are really fast talker. Like that's a New York.
Yeah.
I grew up in New York, so I'm
Okay.
totally cool with that.
Yeah. No, I definitely talk fast. I try to not so people can understand me, and I think I've gotten better at that. My freshman year is a lot worse, to be honest, but yeah, I do talk pretty fast. I've heard that a few times.
Well, I mean, people can watch this at whatever speed they want to watch it. I am cool with it. I was
Yeah,
just thinking, like, I grew up north too, went to North Carolina, and then now live in Georgia, where we have a great baseball. So I know the adjustments that you make, and probably pronunciations of words too. Being
definitely.
down south, it's really tough. Like, that no one understood what a pizza pie was and stuff. Like, I used to say,
Never.
"Look at the dog over there."
Yeah, and that people freak out. They have no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny.
Yeah, so, like, where does this is this attitude, like, ingrained in you? Help me understand why you hate hitters so much.
I think it's just my northern attitude. I like competing. I've always loved sports in general, not just baseball, but I kind of fell in love with baseball, I feel like, because it was something that I was just better than everyone at, especially being at home, and that's just something I could win at. So anything that I can win at and be competitive at and join some elite competition in college and stuff like that is what I wanted to do. And that's kind of how I did eventually end up falling in love with baseball throughout my life, but I just love to compete. My real, true, raw emotion comes out on the mound, and the good moments and the bad moments. That's just who I am, and I'm happy with who I am. It's fun to be out there. It's fun playing baseball. It's fun competing with my teammates. So I think that's where all the emotion comes from, and being from the north, that might help too. So
Do you feel like so to me, it looks like you are in a battle. You're locked in battle with the hitter. It's
yep,
like it's almost like a boxing match or something. I even saw you like between innings during the last game where I knew you were going to find a way to get into the game, but I saw you with a towel over you. You look like a dude in the corner of a boxing match ready to fight.
yep.
Like, is that what you feel like?
Yeah, I'm just always ready to go. It was fun this weekend having the option to come out of the pen on Sunday or Monday. Haven't been able to do that in a little bit, so you kind of get a little antsy. You kind of forget how that feeling is of like, oh, he could tell me to go down and get hot right now or never. But we lost a close one on Sunday night, and then we had a close or we were in a close game on Monday against a very good team, obviously. So I was confident I was going to get my chance, but I was ready. I was ready to go in at any point. It was kind of exciting coming out of the bullpen. You only got like 2 innings to really focus on, which for me, I mean, being a starter, it feels kind of like nothing. So you go out there and you're just throwing as hard as you can for 2 straight innings, and that's just fun competition to me.
I freaking love so one of my all-time favorite, I don't know if you remember it, was when they called timeout to ice Kumar Rocker back in the day. So
Yeah,
Kumar, yeah, and when Duke called timeout and Kumar's in the middle of a no-hitter and then was just like shoved it down their throat, walks
yeah.
off the field yelling at him. Did you feel any of that? Like, walk me through your mentality during that timeout. And did you actually say you're fucked to the hitter?
I might have said that because I feel like that's what he was. To be honest, I feel like they wouldn't have taken the time out if he wasn't in trouble. But yeah, I had a lot of confidence going in. My fastball was definitely working as good as it has all season that night, and I I don't like necessarily when offensive take offensive timeouts. I know it's part of the game now, and I know even my own school does it sometimes. But as a pitcher, you're in the competitive moment. I feel like it doesn't really do anything but just take up more time. It's not going to throw me off of my game. It's not going to do anything like that. It's just going to maybe even piss me off even more. So I don't know why they always do that, but I feel like I find myself in that moment a lot, and in a regional game closing out, I was feeling really good that night. I sent like 98, 99. Yeah, I didn't think the hitter had a chance, so I told him that.
It seems like that is a bad idea to call timeout when you're on the bump because I don't think it gets in your head. It makes
No,
you may make you mad and charge you up and maybe make
yeah.
you throw 99 the next pitch. Like, I kind of knew that and I didn't understand the timeout at that point because there are guys where it throws them off. You don't seem to be one of them.
Yeah, that's how I've always kind of felt. I feel like sometimes, if it's like a big count or something, and like it could throw off a pitcher's rhythm or some things like that. But for me, in that sense, with nobody on, 2 outs, and it was like a 1-2 count, it's like that's just not going to do anything besides wait more time for the fans and make everyone just wait and look at you talk to your hitter. I don't even know what he possibly could have said. But it is what it is. He's probably like, yeah, you're getting a fastball here, and he took it anyway, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know what the point of the off timeout was there.
Did so how often what is your best bolt this year?
My best fastball is 100.6, and I hit that in the SEC tournament.
Excellent. Who do you model your game after, by the way?
Um, I growing up, I loved watching guys like Max Scherzer and stuff compete. I feel like he kind of has that competitive fire as me, but I never really threw like him. He's obviously a righty. He has a ton of stuff that is definitely better than some of my off-speed pitches and stuff like that. But I loved watching his competitiveness and watching how he pitched. Obviously, he dominated the league for years and stuff like that. But I never necessarily pitched like him. But my favorite pitcher to watch growing up, being like a Red Sox fan and stuff, was Chris Sale. Just watching another lefty. We're definitely different, but we're both lefties. We both have a great fastball, and his slider is definitely his out pitch. But just watching how he competes too, he's a very fiery competitor, and I got to go to Fenway a ton and watch him pitch. I've even seen him make rehab starts in Worcester and stuff like that. So, watching him pitch growing up, he was definitely my favorite pitcher to idolize.
That is a great call because I was actually just getting done saying how much during Chris Sale's entire career,
Mm.
he's one of those guys that I absolutely love watching pitch because of the competitiveness. You see it on his face. He
Yeah,
wants to eat a hitter's head and
yeah.
just like throw it away after he's done with it.
It's funny if he ever gets like pissed off or something. Usually he sits like 95, 96 or whatever, but then he'll like turn it up to like 99 from his crazy arm slot, and hitters have no chance, and he'll get mad. I know there's a few times that he's done that in his career, and it's kind of I feel like I don't know. I feel like I always kind of have it turned on to I'm throwing as hard as I can. That's how I am. But to see him like turn it on and get really mad and ramp it up to like 98, 99 from his crazy arm slot, it's kind of cool to see.
It's so much fun. Like, I totally agree with you. There are times where you just see this switch in his head. He's throwing 94, 95, and then all of a sudden, someone will get a cheap hit or he
Yeah,
doesn't hit his spot and he gets pissed off and just
yeah,
shoves it down someone's throat.
yeah. I have no chance.
Absolutely. Is there little Tarek Skubal at all too? Do you feel that at all?
Yeah, I mean, School was definitely someone that's just come on the radar, and I've watched a few of his outings and stuff like that, and I feel like I could definitely be similar to him right now, and definitely in a few years. But yeah, he's a great pitcher. He's one of those lefties that are really fun for me to watch. I feel like lefties are at a premium right now in the MLB. There's not too many of them, so guys like him and watching him and Chris Sale and stuff go to work, it's pretty fun.
So did you actually I was trying to lip read. There was one point during the year where you, I believe, called a hitter a effing
Yeah,
pussy.
yeah, that happened. Because
That
they had an offensive timeout again. I was my grandma wasn't too happy with me with that one because that kind of went viral and everywhere, which was kind of funny. And I don't know, I like that stuff anyway. But yeah, I got a call from my grandma the next day. That wasn't too good, but besides that, it was well worth it. And it's just part of the competition. I feel like sometimes it just comes out, and that's just how it is with me.
what did she say to you?
She just wasn't too happy with the swears. Me and my aunt were trying to figure out like a way that we like could like make it sound like I didn't say that because there was obviously lip reading, but there was almost no way around that one. There was nothing that was gonna work. So she wasn't too happy with me. She said that was my last warning. So hopefully it probably will happen again. So we'll see how it goes. But she wasn't too thrilled.
So in the playoffs last year, Scooble did, I believe, the same. I mean, a similar thing. I forgot what he said. It wasn't. He dropped a couple f bombs, and his
Yep.
mom actually responded to a tweet that I had lip reading him. She's like, "Tarek Scooble, basically putting him in his room, giving him calling him his government name, and then basically going like, go to your room, Tarek." And
Yeah.
he was like, well, my mom's the most competitive person I know, and she has room to talk here.
Yeah.
Is your family all competitive like that?
Yeah, my family's definitely all competitive. Both my parents played sports. My dad played collegiate soccer, so we have a few athletes in the family and stuff like that. And everything gets a little competitive here and there, but I try to take it to a whole nother level. And I feel like even besides my family being on this coaching staff and guys like that that just want to win, I don't know anyone that wants to win more than Coach V. So he's pretty damn competitive out there. So I feel like that helps my competitive spirit out even more. But yeah, my family is very competitive with family games and little things like that. They get pretty tense sometimes.
So speaking of Coach V, does he love it seems like he loves this. Like when you're out there, your attitude is basically embodying him or
Mhm.
vice versa on the mound.
Yeah.
And I saw him waving his hands or whatever during that timeout. Was he pumped up when you
Yeah.
did that, or what was
Oh
he doing?
yeah. Yeah, he was pretty fired up that game. At that point in the game, we had like a 3 or 4 run game or lead, and we were feeling confident. A few more outs to go, and I was feeling good. But yeah, just a mixture of having that competitive attitude and that fiery attitude, getting a job done, and just having some fun out there too. That's what I feel like he's all about. Practices are super laid back and fun, and he just knows how to. He's definitely a player's coach. I love going to play for him and his team, and just talking with everyone. And Coach Elander's the same way. And I feel like all the guys that he's built the staff around are very similar in that matter.
Well, he said something like, "You're like a dude in a bar fight when you're pitching," which is
Yeah.
actually what I'm picking up from the same exact vibes. And he seems like that type of guy too. So I know people are like always either people hate y'all or they love y'all.
Yeah.
And you're the guy that everybody's like, they will crap on you until you're on their team. And then
Mhm.
you're the guy that everybody's like, man, we got Liam going today. And he fired like you got to fire up the whole team, right?
Yeah, I try to. That's my goal. I'm not going out there necessarily to make friends or fans. I'm just trying to win for my team, whatever it takes. So I can see why people wouldn't like to go against me. I can see why people like to cheer when I'm on their team. It makes sense to me, but that's just how it works for I feel like both of us. Obviously, Coach V doesn't have he has a ton of fans, but he also has a ton of people that don't love him as well. So that's just how our energy and attitude works, and that's just part of sports, and that's why I think baseball is so fun because you have these different fan bases that hate it, some love it, and you just take it with pride and continue to go out there and do what you do every day.
I think I remember him telling stories about Max Scherzer from back in the day too. Has he
Yeah.
ever told you any of that, or does he tell you you remind him of him?
Yeah, he's actually very close with Max. They were at Missouri together for a little bit, so he talks about Max all the time. He has some good funny stories and stuff that he's told us in team meetings, and I know he still talks and hangs out with Max when he's around. But yeah, he's told me before that my attitude and energy kind of is very similar to him, and just wanting to compete and win. And I know he said that's where he gets some of his competitive side too from people like that he's been around. So it's pretty cool.
Would you love to meet him at some
Yeah,
point,
that
right?
that that would be pretty cool. Hopefully, that would be pretty sweet meeting guys like that, and hopefully by next up and coming years, I'll be able to be in the bigs and be able to meet a lot of those guys and just pick their brains and stuff like that. But yeah, Max would be definitely really cool, and he was definitely someone that I grew up watching, so that'd be fun.
What's the best chirp that anybody's thrown at you from opposing fans and stuff? I know college baseball, especially in the SEC, can be brutal. Have you gotten any?
Yeah, some you'll get some crazy things said by fans. I know where we're going this weekend. They aren't too big of fans of me, and they have some pretty loud and obnoxious fans, which that's fun. That's cool to pitch in, and that's just part of SEC baseball, and that's why it's so special. I don't know necessarily a particular chirp. There's some funny ones like about my energy and attitude, and that I'm crazy and stuff like that you'll see like either on Twitter or face to face from a fan, but. Going in front of these fan bases, you'll catch a lot of shade from some people, which is fun. I think that kind of just fires me up anyway. It gets me going. I had the same thing happen to me at like Ole Miss and stuff this year too, for obvious reasons. But that's all fun and games for me. I think it's a good time.
So if you were having a throwing contest, who wins between you and Tanner?
Oof, I don't know. Tanner throws pretty hard.
Dude,
Uh,
the ball he threw last game looked like it teleported to home plate.
yeah, he throws really hard. I don't know. My fastball is really good, but he definitely has me beat probably in the velocity side of things. But I always tell him he's lucky because usually I have to go out there and I'm going to try to throw like 6, 7, 8 innings or whatever, and he only has like one or two. He's got that closing role. I'd probably catch up to him if I had the closing role, but I like my starting role, so I'll stay where I am.
Are you going to be out at the combine at all?
Hopefully not because it's during Omaha,
I
so
was going to say, yeah.
I would hope not, but whatever happens, yeah, I'd be there, but I don't think so.
Okay, 'cause yeah, I'm going out there because I did this last year and met with a bunch of folks, and going to be there this year. If you're out there, definitely stop by. I hope you're not. I want to see you go deep in the tournament too, because that
Yeah,
means more content for me. The deeper
absolutely.
you.
Yep.
Like it's all about my social media. Like I don't
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely am rooting. What does your teammates tell you about you as a pitcher? Like what did they say? Did they tell you how much they fire you up watching you?
Yeah, I think on Friday nights, especially in the SEC, you already have a lot of adrenaline running, and I'm just trying to push my teammates over the edge and get as many wins as we can. But I've been told great things from my teammates. I like to think I'm a great teammate, and I love all my guys here, and would go to war for them like I do every Friday night, and what I'm trying to do. But yeah, I believe that I'm a great teammate. All my teammates love the competitive attitude. I think it brings some attitude even out of guys that are less competitive or not or don't show it as much. It brings a little fiery energy. So I think it's all fun and games, and I'm pretty sure the teammates love it. And I know the coaching staff does for sure too.
What happened at that home plate thing? That the hard tag? That was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, that
Like
was
again,
wild.
it was nuts.
Yeah, no, that was funny. I don't know. I kind of thought it was kind of soft or bush league or whatever, try to steal home on a guy that's been in college baseball now for 3 years. I wasn't like it was like a freshman or something that was going to panic in the moment, but I don't know. They showed no trust in whoever was sitting in the box, which was the first off thing. And then the guy came running at me. He kind of put his arms up first, so I just shoved him back, made sure I tagged him, and there were some choice words said, and we were on our way. I got thrown out. I got to miss a midweek game, and I was back out there on Friday. That's how it
Do
went down.
do opposing teams like off the field? Are you cool with them or you still hate them? Are you like a Bob Gibson who doesn't talk to opposing teams? Or are you more like,
Yeah.
hey, there's on the field and off the field?
No, I'm pretty cool with some guys that I know around the SEC and talk to a lot of guys, but I don't know. I don't necessarily hang out with them until the season's over or whatever. I'm doing that, but guys that are from the Northeast, I like to talk to. If there's any that I play during the regular season or guys that I've been to previous schools with and stuff like that, I'll talk to. But I try to stay focused on my team and what my team's doing during the season. But yeah, I'm pretty cool. I feel like with everyone else, if you ask any of my friends, I think I'm a normal guy outside of baseball, but that's just how it is.
I find that hard to believe. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Are you
No.
gonna be you think you'll be at the All-Star game maybe for the draft and stuff and
Nah,
voting and
I
stuff?
decided I'm gonna stay home with my family. I think it
Yeah.
just works best. So my grandma's able to go, and all my family and friends. We got a little place that we're gonna be renting out and just hanging out and waiting for my name to get called. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long, but it'll be fun to be back up there with my family and friends, and we're looking forward to it. I wish I could be in Atlanta and stuff like that, but it just makes more sense for me to be home.
Yeah, no, if you haven't noticed, you're gonna get called early only because knock on wood first, only because the guys that I have on, I mean, I've had Paul Skeens, Chase Burns, and then you in 3 years running. Like, I mean, that's a good sign.
It's good company, yeah. It's pretty good. They're pretty talented guys.
You're kind of so you're definitely more on the Chase Burns side where he was kind of like that too, where he's a maniac on the bump. Paul
Yeah,
has this quiet confidence about him. Very
yeah.
different.
He's just Paul just seems like an alien when you're watching him. I don't know if there's anyone you can even really compare to him. He just has a straight face, and he has 20 different pitches. I feel like now, and he's throwing 102 past you. So good luck with that. But yeah, I've drawn some comparison to Burns. Obviously, he played here at Tennessee, and obviously he's a unreal pitcher. Just watching him was really fun anyway. So those are two guys that's good to be compared to.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to see you at the next level. And I know, like, based on feedback I'm getting on social media, everybody wants you on their team, and it's for exactly the reason. Like, you can't when you're pitching, it's very hard to take your eyes off you because you never know when you're going to drop an F bomb, throw 99 by somebody, throw 100 by somebody, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're one of those guys that you have to watch, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the element of surprise. You never know what you're gonna get, so it's pretty fun being out there.
It's a beauty. Do you ever think of this stuff? Like it's just spur of the moment. You're there competing, and
Yeah,
it's almost like someone's punching you, and you're punching them back, and you're going to do whatever you can to beat them. Right? You're not.
yeah.
You,
It's just something that happens, and whatever happens out there happens out there. Whatever happens on the baseball field will stay on the baseball field. So, outside of the baseball field, I'm as normal as it gets. I feel like, but on the baseball field, I'm definitely a big competitor and just trying to go win. And whatever happens, happens. Good TV and media for me, I guess.
I feel like you'd be tough to play anything, like board games, ping
Yeah.
pong, whatever it is. You're probably bowling. You're probably talking trash too.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking trash. Ping pong, I struggle with though. I'm not too good at ping pong, so I struggle talking trash at it because I'm usually losing. That's why baseball is good for me because I'm at least half decent at that. Ping pong's not great for me. Yeah, I'm trying though. I'm learning.
Yeah, you got to. It's a pitcher. Golf. You
Yeah,
play golf at all?
golf.
Like,
I golf a lot, and golf's a great sport to talk trash in. So I'm pretty decent at golf. So that's fun to talk trash to with my friends back home or even some of my teammates here.
absolutely. Well, let's go over some pitch grips. I want to see first. I want to see how you. Well, we'll go over your fastball grip, and also want to get some cues of like how you're throwing hard, like how you're feeling your body move. But we'll go over the grip first, and then let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I have a generic four seam grip, some that pretty much every pitcher now throws, but
Yep.
I'm
Not tucking your thumb at all.
no,
You're
I do tuck my thumb right
okay.
on the seam right here, so my
Yep.
my inside of my thumb's right on that seam right here, but it's a pretty generic four seam grip. Um, but my cues for it really are I'm trying to rip down straight down on it as hard as I could. That's where I feel like I get my really good spin rate, and that's when you get the ball going like this out of your hand. So that's definitely my goal for my four seam, and I feel like my cues are when I land with my front foot, I'm really trying to rip my front side and let my arm just come with it. And if it's all in good motion, it comes out really hard and it has that really good induced vertical break. And that's where I get my good fastball from, and that's where the spin rate comes from and all the ride comes from. I'm really just trying to rip down on that. I throw the clean fuego a lot during practice, and that's kind of how something I grew up doing. And I feel like that's where I've got my ride from. I've really tried throwing like not necessarily like long toss, like not like max effort long toss, but like 120, 150 feet. Just really just let my body do all the work and not my arm. And I feel like that's where you get like easy ride too. So just basic stuff like that. I feel like my fastball's gotten better over time. There's like a funny story. My freshman year at college, I was throwing a two seam. Yes, yep, there it is right there. I was throwing a two seam fastball and I was getting ride on it. I was riding at like
Ooh.
17 to 18 induced, which is like decent for a four seam. And halfway through the season, people are like, what are you trying to do with your fastball? I'm like, I don't know, just throw a fastball up in the zone and throw it hard. I guess that's why I was good. I was pitching in the Sun Belt, and you kind of learn these things. It's a good like intro to college baseball, but switch over to a four seam fastball. That's kind of how my fastball became a thing. Got my like 21, 22 induced, and ever since then, it just kind of took off, and that's how I became a good pitcher from that. But that's my fastball. It's basic and not necessarily the sexiest thing or whatever, but get good ride, get a good induced on it, and throw it hard, and you'll miss some barrels, which is always
Yeah,
good.
no, absolutely. I mean, throwing 99 with 21, 22 induced vertical break will play at any level.
Definitely, yeah. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. And then a pitch that's kind of developed for me this year was my splitter. It's always also kind of a traditional splitter, but I throw it a lot harder now. It really kills the spin rate on it. I have my thumb right down here on the seam once again.
Mhm.
But it's kind of similar. I looked at like Felix Bautista's splitter a lot and how he threw it because I used to throw my splitter more like this, it was more like a split change. It was
Uh-huh.
over the four seam, but now I throw it like a traditional splitter, like how he throws it. And it's super easy for me just to rip down on the ball. I throw it just like my four seam, just with this grip, and it comes off the middle finger and just spins sideways, and usually has some crazy drop. It's like four induced and very low spin rate. So my splitter and my fastball are definitely my two best metric pitches.
I
Uh,
feel like that makes a lot of sense to me, you throwing a splitter because you're a very aggressive thrower, and a
yeah,
splitter, you throw aggressively, right? You're throwing it like a fastball, angry, as
yeah.
opposed to a changeup. I bet you a changeup's tough for you.
I used to struggle throwing like a circle change and stuff in high school. I couldn't really just get it down. I don't like it was all right, but I'd always slow my arm down, or hitters would kind of pick it up out of the hand and just take it. So I went over to a splitter my freshman year, and now I've had a few different grips with it, but this one seems to be working the best for me. I'm throwing it close to 90 miles per hour, and it's pretty hard, and it kills a lot of spin. So it's been a great off-speed pitch for me. It's always around the zone and stuff like that. So it was a great pitch grip change in addition for me to use when I got into college.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I have a slider that I've been working with now. It's pretty much like a cutter grip, like an off seam or an off seam four seam fastball. This is my four
Yep.
seam, and then this is my cutter, just right off of it.
Just hold it a little bit further up so I can just see the full
Yeah.
right by your face, I think.
Yeah,
And
right here.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if
Gotcha.
this is my four seam right here, my cutter is
Uh-huh.
literally just a little seam shifted over, and this one's really was always really easy for me to throw. I started throwing it my freshman year. That's where my pitching coach tried to tell me to throw it, but now it's more of like a slider and a cutter combined. I get more depth through it, throw it pretty hard as well, but it's really easy just throwing it like a four seam anyway. It's pretty much the same grip, which is my best pitch, and I'm really trying to make all my pitches work off of my four seam. So that's why that was very helpful for me.
What's your mental game like? Like, what do you think of when you're on the bump? Do you have any like, if you ever struggled, when you struggle, what happens and how do you reset yourself?
Yeah, I feel like all pitchers struggle, and part of college baseball is learning how to deal with that. Yeah, I give up hits, and it happens sometimes. But I focus on the next out and getting the next guy out. Definitely starting with throwing strikes and throwing my off speed pitches in the zone. But part of learning how to pitch and becoming a great pitcher is learning how to fail. Because baseball is truly a game of failures. Like it's impossible to go out there and win every time. No one does that. So it's good to experience your failures. I had some really up and downs last year at Ole Miss, just going to the SEC, which I feel like everyone experiences that at some point, but just going out there and competing, that's what it's about. I'm not gonna always have my best day out there, but you will always get 100% effort in competing out of me. I can promise that, and I feel like that's kind of where my mental side is. It's not gonna always have the best results, but it will be my best effort, and you will get my best compete mode out there every time I'm on the mound.
Yeah, you're not one of those guys like Corey Kluber or Kyle Hendricks that has no emotion. You're one of those
Yep.
guys like Max Scherzer that gets fired up and that just
Yep.
when the chips are down, you're just like dog
Absolutely.
cussing somebody
Yep.
in your head.
Absolutely.
What's the have I missed any of your events this year? Like any of your competition, your lip reading stuff? Have I missed anything? Like I tried to catch your games, but was
Yeah.
there any event that I totally missed and you're like, "Oh man, I thought that was going to make it."
I don't think so. I feel like maybe something like that happens like once or twice a game, and sometimes I just get caught on camera, and other times I don't. Like sometimes it just happens. But for the ones that got caught on camera, the one in Houston against Oklahoma State was a big one. We talked about that one, and then
Yep.
obviously the Auburn one was kind of hard to miss. So that one happened, and then this weekend too was just competing. But anytime there's an offensive timeout, and if the camera's on me, they'll probably see something not nice being said. Just kind
I'm
of
I'm
happens.
I'm definitely hoping for that because again,
Yeah.
you're just so much fun to watch. You've made this season really enjoyable for everybody out there. Like to me, that's what college baseball is about. Is
Yep.
like, pro baseball, it takes some of the emotion out of it. They play so many games and they have to they get paid a lot. You guys are competing and you're young and the emotion comes out. And that's I think why everybody relates to this. Like I think everybody loves it because you're real.
Yeah, no, that definitely is what it is, and that's why I loved watching the SEC and stuff growing up because I feel like every game just means so much more. And obviously, watching professionals, and that's what I want to do with my life. So I'm not gonna bad talk it that much, but pitching in the SEC and pitching in college baseball, every game does mean more. Every game feels like a rivalry game. Baseball kind of gets kind of repetitive in pro ball, where yeah, you're working and this is your job, but baseball right now, what I'm doing just feels like fun. I'm going out there and competing, and I'm just playing school ball, man. I'm just going out there with a bunch of my best friends, and we're just going out there and trying to win games. But that's where that competitive side comes from in college sports, and that's why I love it so much.
Do you feel like after the draft, I was thinking another Tennessee guy, Garrett Crochet, like, he came out of the bullpen right away. Is
Yeah,
that something like, say you get drafted really high and a team's down the stretch and needs you on the bump? You seem like a guy that I could throw in the ninth inning and you would just mow people down.
yeah, I'd so do that. I would have that adrenaline rush, and that's something that I would be so fine with doing and being fun. Obviously, eventually, I'd want to be a starter, and I know I can start at the next level. But if a team wants me right now, I'm ready to get drafted right now and go in the bullpen for whoever wants me. That would be fun to go do. So
Yeah,
I'm in for that.
no, I mean, obviously, I definitely see you as a starter too. Like you hold your velocity really well,
Mm.
and you're just you clearly are going to do. But I'm thinking you just chuck this dude out there, and he's automatic outs. I mean, I thought that about Chase too. I told him that as well. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you can pitch in the majors right now and you would absolutely dominate.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's something that I would 100% do if the team that drafts me wants me to, and that's something I'm willing to do. But I have to get drafted by a playoff team, and there's a lot of things that have to go out, and who knows even if they would want me to do that. But if they want me to, I'm all in for it. That'd be really fun going to pitch in postseason baseball or something. And I don't know. I feel like no moment's really necessarily too big for me at this point. It's just kind of going out there and competing, and no matter how big the crowd is or the moment is, I'm still pitching on a mound, so it is what it is.
How cool would it be to pitch at Fenway though?
That would be pretty unreal. You know, I grew up going to Fenway all my life. I still go to Red Sox games in the summers, and just being able to pitch in Boston would be pretty sweet. You know, that's the city I was born in, city I live 20 minutes out of right now. So I grew up a huge Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, Celtics fan. Going to pitch at Fenway would be pretty sweet, and that's something that I would love to do in my career, whether that's for the Red Sox or for any other team against them. That would be pretty cool.
And I mean, Garrett Crochet, like that's another guy that's in your, I mean, isn't that somebody that you would love to actually meet and hang out? Like
Yeah, that would be
he's a
pretty
dude.
sweet.
Yeah, he's
He's still very close with a lot of guys here at Tennessee and stuff like that. So being able to meet Croce would be pretty cool. You know, obviously he's had some great success on the Red Sox already this year, and he's going to be there for a while now with that new contract. So that's pretty cool for him, and being able to pitch for a historic franchise like Boston and stuff like that, I'm sure is just a blessing. So he's going to kill it up there. I'm wishing the best for him.
absolutely. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that you want to say to everybody out there?
No, I don't think so. I'm ready for super regionals this week, and I'm ready to get to Fayetteville. I think that's gonna be a really fun weekend. So
It's going to be
college baseball is
crazy.
gonna be on the up this weekend for sure, and hopefully we can get the job done and get over to Omaha. That will be fun for everyone to watch as well.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for joining
Yep.
and good luck, man, because I want you to go deep in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It was awesome.